Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 27th of September. Ooh, October's getting so close, and we're going to cool down this weekend just in time for the arrival of my favorite month of the year. Will it rain again? What about that batch of storms this morning? Goodness, that came out of nowhere. Let's go to some of the Skycam shots this afternoon. We'll begin with the view coming from Fayette, where the sky is just clear as could be. It's mostly sunny. They're sitting in the upper 70s there in northwest Alabama. Pretty much the same sky at Cullman. And look at Dauphin Island looking bright and sunny on this late September afternoon. Big upper low, goodness. You know, those things can be very pesky and throw all kind of issues at you in the weather business. We had a lobe that came through this morning, and a big MCS, a mesoscale convective system, came through Mississippi, and it looked like that was going to fall apart and wind up in South Alabama. Didn't happen. You know, it kept on coming and produced some pretty good rain through parts of central Alabama. Hey, when it comes to thunderstorms, what do? Expect the unexpected. The boundary is over South Alabama. It's been nudged a little farther south, so we are in relatively dry air. So, again, the question is, can we have another MCS overnight? And we'll take a look at modeling here in just a moment. Obviously, models are not handling those very well. There's the radar at 229. You can see, what's left of our MCS is over in Georgia. Big storms around Macon and Warner Robins, but we're pretty much dry at 2:30 this afternoon. We'll be dry this evening. Temperatures are in the 70s everywhere, ranging from 72 at Gadsden to 79 at Montgomery. And we'll see a few of those spots hitting low 80s today. And again, it's going to be pretty warm tomorrow and Friday. We're talking mid-80s on those days, so be aware of that. And around the nation, that cold core upper low, dynamic cooling. It's pretty chilly around the Great Lakes, Chicago, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids. But down here, numbers pretty comfortable today. But again, the really cool air will not get in here until Friday and the weekend. So tomorrow and Thursday will be warm. Convective outlook today, standard thunderstorm risk to the south, and pretty much the same deal tomorrow. QPF chart, rain for the next 5 days. And again, this counts the rain we had this morning beginning at 7 a.m. local time. And I really think what you see there might have something to do with that, and maybe potential for another MCS late tonight or early in the morning. And whether that happens, it's kind of a wild card. We'll just have to wait and see. Tropics, no big change here. The two systems on the board, Philippe and Ophelia. And really, Ophelia looks like it is totally regenerated northeast of the Leeward Islands, and Philippe is in the eastern Atlantic, and both of these are just going to hang out in the middle of nowhere. There's Philippe, wants to bend back to the west in about 5 days. Tropical storm all along, and again, traditionally when they're in that high latitude position, they just don't, they'll be picked up and taken out to sea. And Ophelia is going to be picked up and taken out to sea now. It's just going to do the recurve thing well east of Bermuda, more than likely. But it could become a hurricane. There's the intensity guidance. In fact, a couple of models bring it up to a Category 3, including the GFDL. Wow. Okie dokie, this is the GFS. This is the OZ run, valid at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Same synoptic setup. The upper low is to the north, way north of us, around Cleveland and Detroit. Let's look at the RPM. This is 5 a.m. In the morning. And this run has thunderstorms along that old surface boundary through really central parts of Mississippi and Alabama, but this run has got the storms farther south. The run I showed you this morning had them up this way, around Interstate 20. Well, now they're down there toward US 80. And, again, models, people, we don't handle these things very well. So we're just going to leave the door open for the chance of a storm after midnight tonight, maybe early in the morning. Midnight to 6 will be your main window. This is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. The storms are way down in southeast Alabama. And then tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, we're totally clear. And again, it's going to be warm with mid-80s. Thursday, back to the GFS. Another warm, dry day. Highs 83, 84, maybe 85. We note that cold front north of us, though, and there's Friday. Nice trough as the upper low opens up and evolves, and down below that boundary has come on through, and yes, that is cold air advection. The isobars are perpendicular to those thickness values, and we're expecting a high back in the mid to upper 70s with a nice north breeze, and Saturday, ooh, yes, Beautiful day to start the weekend. We'll start the day probably in the upper 40s, high only in the low 70s. That is Canadian air, really modified polar air. And Sunday, the GFS is printing a low of 48. We might do 45 or 46. Coolest air so far this season, right in time for the first weekend in October. You got to love it. And there's Monday, still looks good. Highs in the 70s, and a week from today, dry, pleasant, just delightful. October can feature the nicest weather of the year if you're new here. We'll check the end of the forecast, 13th of October. Hey, the westerlies are strengthening, which should happen as we get into the cold weather season. Really an interesting map of the surface. We got really cold air coming down over the Great Lakes. That's cold, man. That's snowy looking up there. Around the UP of Michigan and down to the south, you got a tropical system in the Caribbean. Can that happen in October? Yes, it's a fascinating month. You can have, winter storms up to the north and tropical storms and hurricanes down here. So we'll just see how it all plays out. And again, as we point out, if you're new to this is nothing but pure voodoo and speculation out here. We're just looking for trends. And I'll say this, the GFS has been on this idea of something down there in the Caribbean in mid-October for the last couple of runs. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you live around here, we invite you to watch us on television. Don't forget we have the new newscast at 4 and also at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.